blissful ignorance is where someone does whatever the hell they want without caring what people think. And there's an art to it, you know, because obviously people say there's bad ways of there being blissful ignorance, i.e. someone could be blissfully ignorant to the traffic lights on a road and then there's crashes. Obviously that is a bad thing, but I think for the most part blissful ignorance, there's some beauty behind it, because it's a huge component for how anyone becomes successful. You know, the pros of it, there's so many. You stop caring about what people think. I say there's an art to it because it's hard to get over that, especially if you're someone who just starts content or just starts going down your own unique path, and you don't feel comfortable going outside of your comfort zone, you know, doing whatever. People might judge you, whatever, I understand. That's why it takes some time, and it's not just you just jump up to the next level. Okay, now I don't care what people think. No, it's gradual. Sometimes you will care, sometimes you won't, and then there will come a point where you completely phase it out. And I think a lot of people, as they get older anyway, just get like that. You know, at 35, 40, you always hear people acting like that. They go their own way. I found out a lot of my parents, when you just get older, you kind of find your own form and you just stick with it. But I'm talking how to do it at this age. You know, I'm 19, recently just turned that. How do you get to that level? And that's what I want to cover here. What I learned with posting content over time, over the last month, is that you need it to be a humiliation ritual. I can't even speak. You need it to be a humiliation ritual. And that sounds so crazy, but you literally need to push yourself to the limits fully in terms of like what you feel comfortable with posting. And that's just going to make you grow so much quicker. And I think the only way to fully maximize that out is to be blissfully ignorant. Not care what people think. You know, you're going to get a lot of people thinking, maybe not telling you, but there's definitely going to be people thinking like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But why does that matter? Why does it matter what these people think when they're not even part of your lives? If you're someone like me, I'm on a gap year right now, and I'm out of school anyway, there are going to be people at school thinking, what the fuck is this guy doing? But why would I care? Because one, their opinion doesn't really matter, because they don't know anything about what I'm doing. They don't know anything in depth. They're just merely viewers. And two, it's not their life. It only matters what I think because it's my life. I could literally do anything and it doesn't matter what people think because it's my life. And obviously, if you take that too extreme, you're going to just turn into a dickhead. So you need to find a balance. But for the main part of it, you need to just not fucking care. You just need to not fucking care. And you're going to get so many better results from everything. Because everything is a social game, isn't it? Everything is a social game. You can't really do anything in this world without interacting with people or seeing people or thinking about people, because that's all we do care about at the end of the day as humans. We care about connections with other people, relationships. You don't want to come across as cringy or cheesy or in any way. You don't want to come across as a bad person, whatever, you know? So it's hard to come over that. But let me give you an example from my life. So when I was really young, not even really young, until I was about 15, 16, I just cared what people thought so much because I was quite chubby, you know, I tried to fit in a lot. I cared so much about what people thought. It would take over me so much. And then I started posting content, like FIFA content, in like 2022. I was trying to stay consistent with that, and like football edits and things. So that was one way I was just trying to branch out. I stopped that for a while, maybe in like year 12, so that's like being 16, I still cared quite a bit. Until I started trading, and I cared, I definitely did care, but it slowly phased out. As I was saying earlier, it slowly phased out. I cared a bit less because I knew this was the path for me. And at school I had a lot of people just clowning me for it. And I phased them people out now, which is also another important part of that. You need to phase out the people who aren't going to let you be blissfully ignorant, because if you phase them out and the only people who are around you are people who are supporting you, you're going to be blissfully ignorant in such a better way, because you're not going to have people giving you doubt or anything. Maybe you don't even get doubt from other people, which is a crucial part. But if you do, you need to phase that out, and that's what I had, and I did phase it out. And now I feel just in my element, you know, not to sound cringe, but I just feel amazing because I'm just working, coming home, editing, filming, trading, cooking some food. Got a few other things outside of that as well, just as hobbies. And it's just amazing. I feel at peace with everything because it's just such a chill thing. You don't have to think about what other people think, even what my parents think about trading. You know, I didn't until maybe like 4 months ago, I didn't tell my parents or anyone really about trading, not anyone at work. You know, I was just quite not ashamed of it, but I almost was only 90% sure it would work out, so that I would feel worried, and I didn't feel comfortable telling other people. It felt like I was just making shit up, like, what am I doing? Like, oh, it's just kind of embarrassing. But now I'm blissfully ignorant. I don't care. I don't care if there are people at work who think, oh, that's a bit weird. Like, because why does that matter? If they're acting like that, if they don't see the vision, I don't care, because that shows that I don't want them in my life. And I noticed also, as a byproduct of this mentality in life, you kind of just, it kind of gets ingrained into you more. As I'm telling more people, okay, I'm doing this trading thing, then okay, this is my goal, what I'm going to be doing in a year's time. Okay, once I get this payout, okay, then I'm going to be leaving my job, whatever. Then it's kind of like, not tricking your mind, but manifesting into your mind that you're going to be successful. And that's how you become so much more confident in what you're doing anyway, because you're actually talking it, you're verbally speaking it into existence. And it's amazing. And I think this can help anyone's life, because no matter what you're doing, as long as you've got some sort of ambition, being blissfully ignorant is going to help you just progress so much faster. Because I think one of the most overlooked concepts of actually succeeding in life is just not caring what people think. Because in order for any valuable success to happen, you need, if you can see my cat in the background, you need to not care what people think, because you're going to go a different route to everyone else. As a successful person, that's something that has to happen. You cannot live a normal life if you want to be successful. So if you're going to start, if you want to, in 10 years time, whatever, you want to be in a successful place and doing unordinary things, you've got to start doing that now, even if the success isn't there. And you've just got to start it, and eventually you'll get past this bubble and you'll realise, why do I even care? It doesn't matter. And there we go, you're blissfully ignorant. And I think it's just such a beautiful thing. I think about it so much. It's amazing. So I hope everyone who watches this video can learn blissful ignorance and just at least try and practice it in life, because it kind of ties into Stoicism as well, Greek philosophy, if you know what that is. That sounded quite patronising actually, but Stoicism is where you only care about things that are in your control, you know. So obviously people who are saying you're not going to make it or whatever, they're out of your control. You don't care, you're blissfully ignorant about it. Okay, you can have your opinion, but I'm just going to step away from you, do my own thing, and that's all that matters. And just be super confident in it and put all the work in that I can put into it to get my output, my ideal output, if that makes sense. I don't want to yap too much in this video. For like I say all the time, I do like a little yap. And I hope this is actually structured quite well. I always think about my structure, and I want to make this video structured. Like, hopefully it's been quite cohesive. But I just want you guys to learn the art of blissful ignorance, because I think it's an amazing thing, and I think you should think it's an amazing thing too, and I think you should practice it all the time, and I need to practice it more, and I'm going to keep practicing it more. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Be blissfully ignorant and fuck what people think.